Hey, everybody, we're back here with Congressman Adam Kinzinger talking about tonight's Republican National Convention. You know, I watched a fair amount of it tonight. I know a lot of effort goes into it. They're never all that exciting, but this one seemed particularly kind of low-key and kind of boring. Like less like an exciting convention, more kind of like a mega church service in some ways. Do you recognize your party? Is this the Republican Party or the Trump Party at this point?
Well, it's the party I recognize of the last 7 years. But the party that I grew up, you know, as a kid, I liked Reagan. I liked this idea of a strong America and America's role in the world and that kind of stuff. That's what drew me to the Republican Party. I don't recognize that in this party at all. There is, if they try to call themselves conservative, there is nothing conservative about the current Republican Party. I mean, the stuff they stand for is by definition not conservative, but it really comes down to, are you dedicated to Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone? Why is it that I got called a rhino even before the January 6th stuff? It stands for Republican in name only. Had nothing to do with what I believed. I was always a moderate, but there was room for moderates at that time. It was always about the fact that I never pledged allegiance to a man. And that's what this party has become. And it's sad because, again, it was this is the party that, you know, fought to free the slaves, that built the interstate system, that you know, was very clear-eyed about the Soviet Union. And it's now the party that is committed to a cult-type agreement or cult-type dedication to Donald Trump and Donald Trump alone.
Well, let's talk about... By the way, do you ever go to the RNC? You were in Congress for 12 years. Do you ever go to one of these?
I went in 2016. I went to the Cleveland one.
Wow.
That was very interesting because I showed up, and you know, this is when the party was starting to be taken over, right, by the MAGA movement, and I expected to see maybe there'll be a few, you know, it'll generally be these Republicans that have always been at this stuff, and then maybe there'll be some MAGAs here and there. And I remember showing up to Cleveland. And all of a sudden, I'm looking around the room I'm in, and everybody's got MAGA hats on. And I realized at that moment, like, this is not the Republican Party that I remember. So it had gone from, like, this party where all these people that, you know, had been involved for 50 years and were always the delegates showed up, to completely overtaken by, you know, what was the Tea Party, what really was a bunch of disaffected people that were never involved in the party in the first place. I felt very unwelcomed in 2016.
Well, let's talk about someone is new to the Republican Party, at least in an office, J.D. Vance, who was picked by Donald Trump to be his vice president. Well, what do you make of that choice? What are your thoughts on that choice?
I mean, they are celebrating that choice both in Milwaukee tonight and in Moscow. Like, J.D. Vance is the one that has said, I frankly don't care what happens in Ukraine. He has very loudly talked about how he doesn't care what happens in Ukraine. He has opposed aid to Ukraine at a time where, since World War II, the biggest defense of a country, of freedom, that is happening right now. I mean, in the trenches in Ukraine, you have somebody that is a musician next to a machinist, next to a college professor. These are people that are not at all have anything in common except they're standing together defending their country. And all we have to do is help to finance that, right? We're not even fighting. And J.D. Vance has aggressively parroted actual Russian talking points. So this, to me, he is a guy that was an anti-Trumper, that all of a sudden is the biggest pro-Trumper. He has no moral soul, no center, and how you can like Russia and what they're doing in Ukraine is beyond me. I think it was a terrible pick for the president.
Well, we have to take one more break. We'll be right back with Adam Kinzinger, everybody. Stick around.